She didn't scream, she didn't cry, she didn't even ask for closure. Emily just left, without a word, without an explanation. For months, maybe years, she tried to explain herself, to be understood, to keep the peace. But each time she opened her mouth, she was gaslit, dismissed, told she was too emotional, too much. So one day, she chose silence. No final message, no dramatic exit, just a quiet decision. And that silence, it was the loudest thing she'd ever said. This is Emily's story, and it might be yours too. A story of boundaries, of self-respect, of walking away without apology. Because sometimes the most powerful move is to say nothing at all. Emily thought that if she explained things clearly enough, he'd understand. That if she stayed calm, stayed kind, he'd finally see her. But every time she spoke up, he twisted her words. You're overthinking it. Stop being so sensitive. You always make things bigger than they are. So she started apologizing. For asking for time, for setting small boundaries, for having needs. She wrote essays. He replied with one sentence. She poured her heart out, only to feel like she was talking to a wall. The trap wasn't loud, it was subtle, silent, disguised as love, camouflaged as compromise. And every time she tried to prove her worth, she gave more of her power away. Until one day, she stopped trying. She always thought walking away meant failure, that silence was weakness. But one day, something clicked. She read a sentence that stopped her cold. People who care don't need long explanations. People who don't, won't listen anyway. That's when it started. She stopped defending herself. She stopped over-explaining her boundaries. She stopped trying to be understood by someone committed to misunderstanding her. Instead, she observed. She watched how his words never matched his actions. She noticed how her peace disappeared every time she tried to fix what he kept breaking. So she turned inward. She journaled. She breathed. She spoke less, not out of fear, but out of clarity. She realized something powerful. Every time she argued for her worth, she was treating it like a debate. But her worth isn't a debate. It's a fact, and facts don't need validation, so she made a quiet decision. No drama, no warning, just peace. There was no fight, no final meltdown, no desperate goodbye. She simply knew. This time, she wouldn't explain. She didn't leave in anger. She left in awareness. She'd finally seen the pattern for what it was, and decided to end it. He noticed the shift, texted like nothing happened, called with the same charm she used to fall for. But she didn't reply, not out of spite, out of self-respect. Because when someone has shown you who they are more than once, you don't need another conversation. You need closure with yourself. So she walked away. Not because she was cold, but because she was done bleeding warmth for someone who never held it with care. No revenge, no speech, just a clean, quiet exit. And that silence. It shook everything, because power doesn't always speak. Sometimes it just leaves. She didn't feel powerful at first. She felt empty, quiet. Like something heavy had finally been put down, but her hands didn't know what to hold next. But then, peace. Not loud, not dramatic, just calm. No more rehearsing arguments in her head, no more shrinking to make space for someone else's comfort, no more trying to fix what wasn't hers to carry. She began to understand, real love never needs to be chased, and real boundaries don't need to be justified. She started pouring into herself instead. Books, walks, breath, the kind of healing that doesn't beg to be seen, but changes everything. And slowly she rebuilt. A self that didn't over-explain, a voice that didn't shake, a heart that knew its own value, not because someone else finally saw it, but because she did. You don't need to argue your value. You don't need to explain your boundaries to people who keep crossing them. You don't need to stay just because they say they love you. If it costs your peace, if it erodes your self-worth, it's not love, it's control. And walking away doesn't make you cold. It makes you conscious. It means you finally chose yourself. So if you've ever felt like Emily, know this: your quiet decision to leave might just be the loudest act of self-respect you will ever make. And if you're still standing at the edge, unsure if you're allowed to go, this is your permission. Save your energy, keep your dignity, and walk. If this spoke to you, you're not alone. This channel is your space to rise quietly, heal deeply, and move powerfully. Subscribe to NextMe Project if you're ready to choose yourself and never explain it again.